using a throwaway account because my husband knows my main. Hi everyone. I'm sitting here in my apartment in Phoenix, Arizona, the dry heat somehow making everything feel more suffocating than it already is. The ceiling fan whirs above me, but it does nothing to cool the burning sensation in my chest as I stare at the messages I found on my husband's phone. I need to vent about what's happened with Dave and could really use some advice from people who might understand. So 3 weeks ago, I was borrowing Dave's phone to order pizza while he was in the shower. Mine was dead. A notification popped up from an app I didn't recognize. My stomach immediately knotted, that gut feeling when you know something isn't right. I tapped it and found myself looking at messages between Dave and a man named Chris, planning to meet at a hotel downtown. As I scrolled in disbelief, I discovered he was also talking to some woman named Jessica for over 2 months, also planning a separate meetup. My hands were trembling so badly I almost dropped his phone. I felt physically sick, like someone had punched me in the stomach. And it hurt seeing that because we're supposed to have open communication and be honest, nothing behind the other's back. It's one of our rules we set on day 1 of entering the lifestyle. See, Dave and I are swingers. We play together and separately, so that's why it's making things worse for me. If I'm allowing you to play with others, why are you hiding it and trying to meet someone behind my back? We literally have a calendar on our fridge where we write down our play dates. Also, he's never mentioned being bi-curious. Not once in our 6 years of marriage. So finding that out was also a huge shock to me. I sat on the edge of our bed, reading these explicit messages where he described what he wanted this man to do to him, and felt like I was reading about a stranger, not my husband. When I confronted him after his shower, I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, my hands shaking as I showed him the messages. "What is this?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady but failing miserably. Dave's face went pale, water still dripping from his hair onto his shoulders. He stammered, It's not what you'd think." The towel around his waist suddenly seemed like the only thing keeping him from completely falling apart. "It looks exactly like what I think," I said, my voice cracking as tears welled up. "You're planning hookups behind my back, with a man and a woman I've never even heard of." He sat down heavily on the bed, leaving a damp spot on our gray comforter. "I didn't know how to tell you," he said, not meeting my eyes. "I was afraid you'd judge me for being curious about men." I threw his phone onto the bed between us. "That's bullshit, Dave. Day 1, when we made our rules, you were the one who said no male play because you weren't interested in men at all. Those were your words. So don't put this on me." The look on his face shifted from shame to defensiveness. "Well, things change. I didn't think you'd understand." "Understand what? That you want to experiment? We're swingers, Dave. We literally talk about sexual fantasies during dinner. What I don't understand is why you'd go behind my back when we have an agreement." I've been in my head for 3 weeks since this happened. I made him delete the apps he was talking to these people on while I watched. I deleted his profile from the swinger websites we use. I told him the lifestyle is on hold for the foreseeable future because I can't trust him right now. Every time he reaches for his phone, I wonder who he's texting. Every time he says he's working late, I wonder if he's meeting someone. The more I think about it though, the more I realize something deeper. If we do explore his bi-curiosity with having another man with us, I don't think I'd ever look at him the same. I can still see those messages in my mind. "I want to get on my knees for you. And I've been fantasizing about this for years." These aren't casual curiosities. This is something he's been hiding from me our entire relationship. I don't want to express this to him because I don't want him to resent me in the future, but I don't want to resent him either. Yesterday, I walked in on him in our home office, and he quickly switched screens on his computer. My heart sank to my stomach. "What are you hiding now?" I asked. "Nothing," he said too quickly, "just looking up therapy options like you asked." "Show me," I demanded, and he hesitated just long enough to make me doubt him again. I'm 100% more hurt that he was going behind my back planning meetups than I am about him being bi-curious. When I told him this, he tried to minimize it. "I wouldn't have really met them," he insisted, his eyes pleading. "I have a conscience. It was just fantasy talk. Then why set actual dates and times?" I shot back. "Why get a hotel room confirmation? That doesn't sound like fantasy to me. I don't know how to even move forward with my trust being broken. Every time he says, 'I love you,' I wonder what else he's not telling me." Edit, thank you all for the support. I didn't expect so many responses. To clarify, we've been married for 6 years and in the lifestyle for 2. I've always told him he can talk to me about anything. Just last month, I supported him when he wanted to try rope play with another couple. That's what makes this betrayal so much worse. Edit 2. He's agreed to couples counseling after I suggested it. I'm hoping this helps us rebuild trust. He cried when I brought it up, which I haven't seen him do since his dad died. Some people in the comments are judging our lifestyle choices. That's not what I'm asking for help with. The issue isn't swinging, it's the betrayal of trust within our agreed boundaries. Update: our first therapy session yesterday in a small office with plants everywhere and uncomfortable chairs. Dave kept fidgeting with his wedding ring the entire time. The therapist asked us both to explain our perspectives. Dave opened up about feelings and curiosity that he's been hiding for years. He admitted he's had these thoughts since college but buried them because of how his conservative family would react. He was scared I'd see him differently. "I thought you might leave me," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I know it was wrong to hide it, but I didn't know how to say it out loud, even to you." The therapist helped us talk about boundaries and rebuilding trust. She asked me what I needed to feel secure again. Complete transparency, I said immediately. Access to his phone, his accounts, everything, at least for now. Dave nodded, wiping away tears. I'm still hurt, but trying to understand. When we got home, Dave showed me he had already deleted every app I didn't know about. He handed me his phone and said, "No more passwords, no more secrets. We're keeping the lifestyle on pause for now while we work on our marriage." It's been hard seeing him break down in tears in our kitchen last night, clutching a glass of whiskey, admitting he was wrong for going behind my back. "I love you more than anything," he told me, his eyes red and swollen. "I don't want to lose you over this. Nothing is worth that. I'm still processing everything, but I'm committed to working through this if he's truly committed to being honest from now on." Update. 2 weeks later, I finally talked to Dave about my feelings regarding his bi-curiosity while we were sitting on our patio watching the sunset over Phoenix. The mountains were turning purple in the distance, and I realized I needed to be as honest with him as I was asking him to be with me. "I need to tell you something that's been on my mind," I started, my throat tight. "I might have trouble seeing you the same way if we explored that side of you with another man." He was quiet for so long I thought he might get up and leave. The ice in his drink melted completely before he spoke. "I understand," he finally said, reaching for my hand across the table. "Your feelings matter too. I'd rather have you in our marriage than explore this part of me. I can live without that experience. I can't live without you." The relief that washed over me made me burst into tears. Dave moved his chair next to mine and held me while I cried. "I'm not asking you to deny who you are," I sobbed into his shoulder, "but communication is better than it's been in months." Last night, we actually laughed together for the first time in weeks when we burned popcorn and set off the smoke alarm. We're doing much better now. Our Wednesday therapy sessions have become a ritual that has helped us communicate more openly. The trust is slowly rebuilding. Last weekend, I found myself not checking his phone when he left it on the counter to shower. That felt like progress. We've started dipping our toes back into the lifestyle, but with stricter boundaries. We attended a meet and greet at a local club, but just observed. We only play together now, no separate play. It actually feels more intimate this way. Dave suggested I have access to his location through my phone, which I didn't ask for but appreciate. I still check his phone sometimes, which I hate doing, but he understands why I need that reassurance right now. "Check it anytime," he told me yesterday. I have nothing to hide anymore. It's actually freeing. We found our way back to each other. We're back in the lifestyle, hosting parties, and yes, we've even explored Dave's bi-curiosity together, on my terms and with full transparency. We found a couple where the husband was also bi-curious, and we took things very slowly. Surprisingly, I didn't feel the way I thought I would. Seeing him be completely honest about his desires, whispering to me what he was feeling, checking in with me constantly, actually brought us closer. The first time, I had to step out of the room briefly when emotions overwhelmed me, but not from disgust or disappointment, from the realization that we had finally achieved true intimacy through complete honesty. The betrayal wasn't about his sexuality, it was about the secrecy. Now that everything's in the open, there's nothing to hide. Thank you so much for watching this deeply personal story. I hope it gave you some insight into how complex relationships can be, even in the lifestyle. Trust truly is the foundation of any relationship, traditional or not. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever discovered a partner was hiding something significant from you? How did you handle it? And were you able to rebuild trust? Your experiences might help someone else going through something similar. If you found value in this story, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until next time, remember that honesty, communication, and compassion are the keys to any successful relationship.